This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I did see that the United States and the entire planet didn't explode over the events last night, so that's good. I'm glad to hear it. There was a debate. I've never watched an entire debate in my entire life. I have no interest in that because the host of the debate always spins it their way. So no matter who you are or what you do, they're going to spin it. Like if it's going to be on Fox, it's going to favor Trump. If it's going to be on ABC. And by the way, I don't know if I can keep going to Disney World and giving them $8 billion every year if they're going to try to push me toward one way or the other politically. I mean, ABC Disney has gotten really nuts. And what's weird about that is Bob Iger, whom I worked for years, he didn't used to be like that. What the hell happened?
Well, I'll tell you what. I will set up the best theme park to my ability in my backyard.
Okay.
If you want to give me the Disney money that you were originally planning to spend, and we can call it the Bernard
World
Land
or something.
Yeah.
Bernie Land.
Bernie Land in scenic Fridley, Minnesota.
There'll be a slip and slide.
Mm-hmm. Might be a couple sprinklers, and then it'll be connected to the local park where
like
you
it.
can get on the jungle gym.
I like it. So did you guys, either one of you watch the debates last night? Or debate, I guess it was?
Nope. I watched Fall Guy and
there you go.
The Union.
That movie's pretty good, Fall Guy. I did catch. Okay, that's fine.
It was all right.
Like
that lasted a
I should
long
say
time.
it was I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah,
I thought it was entertaining.
It got a little weird. It got a little weird when he was like seeing unicorns, and then all of a sudden there was this weird murder plot halfway through. But it was fine.
Whoa, spoilers, man! Spoilers. I caught like the last hour of the debate. I had a hot date with college football 25 last night. Lost in the playoffs to Ohio State. Unfortunately,
does she mind you calling her college football 25?
You know, we're gonna have that might be a conversation here in the
Never mind.
Future. But
okay,
yeah. And then I turned it on about when there was a quote about pets are being eaten. That's about when I tuned in.
Oh, speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up because it says here there are two stories on the AP this morning. Okay. Number one, Trump falsely accuses immigrants in Ohio of abducting and eating pets. I scroll down 6 stories and it says right here, Ohio is sending troopers and $2.5 million to a city that has seen an influx of Haitian migrants. That's both stories in the AP. So apparently both sides are true. I mean, it's just insane.
Based on the second one, it doesn't say anything about eating pets. It does say an influx about migrants, though.
Yeah, but they're causing problems.
But it doesn't necessarily label that they are eating pets.
I mean, I don't give a shit if they eat pets or not. I've never eaten a dog.
I would like my dog to
be
safe.
Your dog hates you. I know. I've met your dog. Dog doesn't like you anyway. Jude, I can't even imagine if somebody approached Jude wearing a chef's hat with a fork and a knife. I don't even know he'd look at him like, what the hell do you want? Get away from me. So but I mean, it's amazing that there is a problem. So it's being overstated on both sides. So in other words, if there weren't any people grilling up the pets or whatever, that was overstated. And on the other side, sending troops and $2.5 million of our money to a city that has seen an influx of Haitian migrants, apparently there is some problem. So we could either laugh it up by eating a pet, or we can just say, I don't even have an answer to anything anymore. Because both sides are true in this story, basically. I'm not saying that maybe they were eating pets. How the hell would you ever find? Somebody said there are pictures of them eating the. But I suppose that could be actors doing that too.
There was a picture of a civilian holding a goose.
That's it?
Yeah, I was going to say, there was somebody that was like, had a duck from what I've heard, but nobody has come forward and said, hey, my pet is missing and they were eating him over there.
Yeah.
I don't know even what to tell you anymore. This whole thing. And once again, I don't watch debates because no matter if it's on, like I said, if it's on Fox News, it's going to favor Trump. If it's on pretty much any other news, it's going to favor Harris. It's not your job to favor anyone. Your job is to deliver the news, not give us your opinion, you stupid bastards. And I worked for Disney for years, had a wonderful time. Bob Iger, who's running it again, was running it back then. It was a wonderful company. But now everything is political. Everything we got in the world is political, which I'm getting really, really tired of. It just, I don't know. Would you just calm down? I've seen some highlights. You know, I watched the news this morning to see what the weather's looking like and all the rest of it. So I guess these were highlights. I don't know.
I was going to say highlights might be a generous term.
It might be a very generous term. Yeah, I don't like politicians. I got to be very honest with you. I tried to get along with politicians way back in the day and all the rest of it. These people are the most disingenuous, lying, greedy pieces of shit I have ever met in my life. And not all of them, but 99.9% of them are. They will do something as long as it benefits them, and they don't give a rat's ass about you and me. I mean, everybody knows that, right? These politicians are nothing but a bunch of frauds looking for a handout.
Yeah, most of them, are not. Well, they forget your name once you've voted them into office.
Now, when you watch the last half, I got a couple of emails from listeners that said that Harris at one point kept going through this list of things she's going to do. And basically their takeaway was she's going to give each American $110,000.
That'd be nice.
I would love that. From what I remember, you know, it was like, I will say it was like I had it on, but I was also kind of on my phone doing stuff. My car lease is coming up soon. So I was kind of doing
some. Are you watching porn?
No, just car research.
He goes, no.
Car research. But they did ask, and this is where I wish that we could have just people answer the question.
Yes.
That's my biggest thing about any debate ever. But I do remember she had a couple of points where like small businesses, if you're going to start a small business, you're going to get like a tax break for like, I think $50,000 something for like first time homeowners are going to get some sort of like not like a rebate almost to like put towards the down payment on their new house. So there's stuff like that. But also at the same time, there was questions that both sides danced around.
Okay.
So it's, you know, but I would like to hear you talk about the policy that you have in place. Because on the one side, Trump probably should be going after, like, you've been in office for nearly 4 years now. Like, why haven't you done the stuff? And I'd say being vice president compared to actually president is tough to actually get maybe your stuff in office. But at the but that should be maybe like his plan of attack. Whereas on the other side, she was, I think, strategically hitting certain buttons that Trump like felt he needed to respond about. And so like it's more strategy than anything than actually talking about what they will do for the country, which kind of upsets me.
Because there's a lot of empty promises that get made throughout the political season.
You're kidding me.
And then they get elected and you're like, hey, I thought we were all getting $110,000. Remember when we talked about that? Or free college?
Remember when my student loans were going to be not a thing anymore? Oh, I'm still paying that.
Somebody just sent a message just now that said that Biden made some statement yesterday that one of his programs should have never been put in place. He was criticizing himself for putting a program in. I don't remember what did he put in place that is failing miserably.
I'm not sure.
I don't even pay attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
No, I forgot he was even still around. Like, he's just doing his victory lap as we find our next president.
Yeah. Well, it's only another 3.5 months, something like that.
Yeah. Well, he's officially done in like,
is it
January? Early January is when he's like officially out.
Yeah. Yeah. January 5th, 6th, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I plan on storming the Capitol, whatever day it is. You know.
Yeah. All right. Just so it's on the record, I will be at home, not participating in that this year.
Did you see me charge in a building
with one of those like
kind of deal?
Davy Crockett raccoon hats?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the only
trumpet in hand.
Only way to handle it is what I think. So, yeah, I did not watch any of the debate. I've seen some of the highlights, and from what I can tell, depends on who you like because they won on your news service. So that's just how it is. If you like them, they won, and it doesn't matter. You know, it matters which service you're looking at. But I guess everybody went. And it was already mentioned by Tevin that Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris, which in my mind would hurt her chances because I don't give a rat's ass what Taylor Swift thinks politically.
Yeah, I was just able to sleep so much better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your head hit the pillow that much softer.
That, Taylor Swift has finally made up her mind on who she is or is not going to vote for. So.
That's exactly it. Are we ever going to get over this celebrity? Like Robert De Niro. Who cares what you think, you dirtbag? Ugh.
Unfortunately, I think there are people that do actually.
They do.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, you should go based off of your own personal beliefs. But there's somebody out there that's like, this C-list celebrity on this canceled CW show announced who they're going to vote for.
Right.
And now that's going to impact. Like, maybe just look at stuff and make your own decision.
Yeah. And Taylor Swift kind of got bullied into announcing
she did?
endorsing. Yeah, some of her fans started to go like, "Hey, do you remember last year when your last election and you endorsed whoever, and now you won't do it? Why won't you do it? And now you're hanging out with Brittany Mahomes."
Yeah, that next Chiefs game is going to be awesome.
Right.
Yeah, and she liked Donald Trump's Instagram post, and you have the audacity to be friends with her. And so,
God! So now you're going to tell me who I can be friends with?
Yep.
Again, the two mics. That's the new rule. Judge it by my life. The two mics. One couldn't be further left. The other one can be further right. And I think the world of both of them. I don't give a rat's. They're not going to change an election. Either Gelfand or Lindell is going to change an election. Calm down. Jesus, I wish people would settle down. You know what? Is there any... Now that we've been talking about it, is there anybody that delivers butchered cats so we could grill up during the show? Have like a hot dog, literally. What do you think?
I'll stick to the normal hot dog.
It's
like a Costco dog.
just became vegan.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've ever eaten that tasted like an animal, like that you didn't want to eat?
Oh,
I've had squirrel once.
Oh,
ish.
interesting.
Is that horrendous?
It was, I had like a bite because my little brother was an avid hunter growing up, and he killed a squirrel and was like, "We're gonna grill this up."
When I was a little boy, 4 years old, at Loring Park, which was across the street from where I lived, 1200 Spruce Place, I am go over playing on the little playground area with all that stuff over there, the little spinning whatever those things are.
Oh yeah, the little circle thing that
carousel, but it's not a carousel.
It's like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, it's kind of like
metal. Yeah,
you're right.
It's a ground sideways carousel.
Yes,
but I keep hearing these loud noises, and I'm like 4 or 5 years old, something like that. 4, I must have been 4.
Yeah.
This guy's shooting squirrels in a city park. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? You're in the middle of downtown, basically, opening fire on squirrels.
It's better than shooting people.
Well, that's true. It's a very good point. You're absolutely right about that. We'll move on. That's too good a point to even continue on from. Yes, at least he was. What was he at least doing?
Not shooting people. Yeah,
not shooting people. Yes,
yeah, he's
thank goodness.
And also probably not the craziest thing anybody's ever seen downtown.
Oh, you got that right. There's no question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, South Dakota is one of the most business-friendly states in the country, and there's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives than in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As the state's largest city with a metropolitan population of 290,000 people, Sioux Falls has low business costs with a high quality of life. There's no state, corporate, or personal income tax. There's no inheritance tax, and no limits on to what your business can achieve, as a matter of fact, which is great news. Sioux Falls, South Dakota was recently ranked the #1 best small city for business and careers by Forbes, the #2 best state business tax climate by the Tax Foundation, and the #5 top state for e-commerce by Nexus, as one of the Midwest's fastest growing cities. And it is, by the way. Sioux Falls has a robust, growing job market. No matter where you're at in your career, we have an opportunity waiting for you. Our city's tax-friendly climate and strong workforce don't go unrecognized. Forbes named Sioux Falls one of the top small cities for business and careers each of the last 15 years. In 2020, Sioux Falls also ranked as the #4 best city for young professionals. So, how does South Dakota stack up against other states? We rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business, the most business-friendly state, and the best business tax climate. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Now's the perfect time to make your move to Sioux Falls. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they taught you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank our listeners for all your continued support, which is great of you. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. That's a hell of a reduction, 80%. Looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com, call 800-516-5146, and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Judd Zulgad, SKOR North with us. You know, I was at the Hubbard corporate headquarters yesterday.
Ooh, okay.
This and all the rest of it. So everywhere I turned, there's you and you know, the whole crew over at the SKOR North, and there's GL. And there's one picture of this show. One in the entire building.
Yeah, second floor. Yeah.
Oh, yes. On that picture, there's still Brittany and that other asshole I used to work with. They haven't even changed it in like a year.
I was gonna make a joke about it being those two in the picture, but I was like, there's no way.
I walk past it like every day, and I'm like, should I just tape my face on that?
Honest to God, it's like
Kevin, you're gonna have to print off a picture for me, and I'll just tape it on.
Let's go take a picture of ourselves standing in front of Brittany and Rudy's face, and then we'll put that up there. Yeah.
Honest to God, I was like, really? This is how much you care about the show, huh? You haven't changed a goddamn picture in a year.
Now, changing those pictures,
Mm-hmm.
because I started to work there and used to be in the office all the time in 2011. Changing those pictures takes a lot because they're so professionally done. They literally have to like dismount them. Take that first they have to do new pictures, then they have to dismount the current ones, take them down. A couple of my co-hosts who I don't work with now, back in the day, our pictures remained up there forever after the shows with them came to an end, because they literally have to dismount them from the wall, and I mean it's not like just it's a lot of work. I wouldn't do it personally, but
I tell you what I'll do, because I'm give over on my end. I'll drive over there and tear it off the wall. There, we're done.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
What are they going to do?
That would be good.
By the way, I love the people in that building, whether it's at the front desk.
Except for the ones that put up the picture.
Yeah, except for the asshole that put up the picture. But in any case, there are a lot of great people working over there. We were talking about, I went down and had lunch with Amy in the Hubbard lunchroom, or whatever the hell it's called, the diner, what's it called?
The Hubbard Cafe.
The cafe. Yeah, there you go. Really good food, by the way. Every time I've eaten there, the food's really good.
Yep.
But every time I sit at one of those tables down there, I look over in this one direction. When I was 18 years old, Ron Majors would be sitting there like every day.
No kidding.
Oh, God, yes. I mean, that was 50 years ago, something like that. 55 years ago. So, but they do a great job over there. I mean, I ran into a bunch of nice people. The woman that you talked with for Pepsi, you guys going to do a promotion with Pepsi or something?
Yeah.
What's her name again?
I don't know. Phil, that was a Phil deal.
She has got an edge to her that I just love. She's a very attractive young woman anyway. But I ran into her upstairs and said hello and all the rest of it. And then we came back down because we had to go. I don't know where we were going, but we ran into her again. And she looks at me and she goes, I already talked to you. I'm like, what the hell? What? She gives me basically the brush off, but it was very funny the way she did it. She's a very interesting person. Well, and look at this, by the way. Here I am supporting her damn product.
Yeah. Well, she got her message across.
Yeah, typical. Look at that. Every day.
She did her job.
Yeah. Oh, she did her job.
She did her job. She got her message across. Now you're supporting them.
Just for that, I'm nothing but Mr. Pibb from now on.
Oh, Mr. Pibb. I loved Mr. Pibb back in the day. The only restaurant I could find in my neck of the woods as a youngster that carried it was the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Ooh.
Off of right by 7 and 101 that used to exist near the high school.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely. You just gave me a great memory that I forgot all about when Catherine and I moved from Dayton, Minnesota back into the city, and we built a house over in Golden Valley, living out there. So Andy at the time was, I guess, 16, 17 years old, something like that. He calls me, he goes, "Hey, Dad, where did you grow up?" I said, "Well, North Minneapolis." He goes, "No, I know North Minneapolis, but where?" I said, "Well, everywhere, basically, because we lived in 8,000 different houses." I said, "Why do you want to know?" And he goes, "I'm at the KFC on Broadway and Fremont." And I'm like, "Lock your doors." Did you notice, Andy, that there's a cage in front of the window? They put your food in it and shove it out through a drawer so you can't make contact with them. He's in the middle of the old neighborhood picking up chicken from KFC.
Well, that's funny.
Oh, God, Andy.
That's funny. Yeah, I heard a story once like that because, like you, Sid grew up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I heard a story. This is years ago now, but let's say it was the 80s or early 90s that Sid went back to the north side to go look at where he grew up, blah, blah, blah. And he is driving around and all of a sudden there's a cop on his tail.
Ooh.
And the cop stops him and says, like, "What's wrong?" And the cop says, "You can't just," Sid, because of course everyone knew Sid, said, "Sid, you can't just drive around here. Like, you need to be far more careful than that. You can't just be driving around here." And Sid, he's Sid, he's just gonna drive around and look at things. But yeah, so it sounds like that was definitely a common theme.
It was a common theme
about the north side.
Did they ever write a good book about Sid? He had a book written about his life, I think. But did they include all the things that man went through in his early life?
The only book that's been written, as far as I know, is the one that Patrick Royce and Sid worked on, which I transcribed the tapes for. But that but that was Sid's own story.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I don't think there's ever been a comprehensive, real book written. These were Sid's stories and recollections.
Oh yeah,
and some I'm sure were spot on, and some were tweaked by Sid himself. But a real life story about that guy would be so interesting.
I'm telling you, because he and his mother were very close. He and his father were not close because his father, an alcoholic Jew in North Minneapolis, that was not something you'd want to be around.
And I do recall in transcribing the tape, Sid talking about that and saying that he had to go to the bars to get his dad out
and carry him home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He had a tough life. There's a lot to unpack there. Well before his time, I think, at the paper started, and he was young, because he started as a paper boy.
He started as a paper boy.
On the corner of, was it 7th and Hennepin or something like that?
7th and Hennepin, and also on Penn and Plymouth.
Yeah,
in North Minneapolis. But no, I've told this story a billion times, and I'll never stop telling it because it was so touching. Sid calls me. I go to his house over there in St. Croix. He had a cabin over on the St. Croix. And I'm over there hanging out with him, and he takes me to the ice cream store, really good ice cream store over at, I don't know the name, but Susie's Ice Cream or something, whatever. And we're talking about that because he and I had basically the same father experience. My father, I could never count on him. He was never around. There was always the booze involved in it, and he was cheating on my mother. And I mean, the whole thing was just a disaster. And Sid and I were talking about that, how, growing up like that, you have to use that as a driving force in your life. You can't look at it as something that was horrible because you'd never make it in life. You have to look at that as a driving force. I will never act like that. So use it to your own benefit.
Sure.
But we're talking about that, and Sid's, eating his ice cream cone. And I know I've told the story a million times, but you should have been there because it was unbelievable. At the time, Sid was probably 85 years old. And he's talking to me about this, that, and the other thing. He's looking out the window, eating his ice cream cone. Turns around, looks at me, and there are tears running down his face. He goes, "You know what? I wish my mama had never died." Oh my God, was that touching.
Yeah.
I mean, that was incredibly touching.
Oh, I
Sid
bet.
was a wonderful, and I know some people, Sid pissed some people off. There's no doubt about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
There's no question about it. But Sid had a side to him that was very, very touching. He cared deeply for his family.
Oh, yeah.
He was a very successful man. People might not even know that. But yeah, that's the deal. I mean, it's growing up in a different kind of deal. Sydney, we love you and we miss you, pal. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I still think about, especially when teams play poorly, I still
God.
think about what would Sid have written to defend him.
Oh, he did.
You know,
he absolutely.
Gophers are
did.
playing bad, or the Vikings, if they're playing bad. I always think about, you know what, the Sid spin on this is what I miss the most as far as like the coverage aspect.
No question about it.
All of you geniuses.
You think you got all the answers?
What do you do, sir? What do you do for that? That was the greatest when Sid did the Tom Kelly show on Sundays on CCO, and some guy would call up and say, you know, hey, Tom, what were you thinking with the guy on second base, blah, blah, blah. And Sid, what do you do, sir?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you do?
He got Sid on the air. And I don't know who the hell it was that did this, but it was when the KQ morning show was taking off and just really kicking ass and blah, blah, blah. I'm listening to Sid and Tom Kelly talking about the Twins and all the rest of it. It's live on CCO. And they get a call. This young guy goes, look, I got the answer to this whole thing. We got to get rid of you, Tom Kelly, and replace you as a head coach with Tom Barnard.
Oh, you're kidding.
And Sid, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. It's like, Sid, it was a joke. Settle down.
Right.
He's like, where did I come up with an idea like that? He's just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yes. Yes. And then there was the time, I think the Twins were in Baltimore, and Sid had actually, in a rare case, he had criticized something. I forget.
Oh, God.
He criticized the Twins. I don't think it was Kelly directly. I think it might have been a player, but TK was pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire thing was this glorious Tom Kelly show of like him dropping the phone, just being a real jackass on the air to Sid because he was mad at Sid.
Right.
And that's back when TK was fiery.
Oh, God. He was fiery.
Oh, and he, I mean, if you go back to the first World Series, he had no time for most of the press.
Not true.
The media, he was not a fan. And so,
Yeah.
and he was young, so he was really fiery back then. But yeah, I guess it was just, he'd like slam the phone down or hit it off his desk during the show. And it was pretty damn funny.
I love that guy. TK was such a great guy to me. It was unbelievable. I mean, he had his limits. Like, I'll be nice to you, but don't step over this line.
Right.
It's one of those kind of deals. But the reason we're talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Twins actually have won 2 games in a row. Is that right?
No, just one.
Just one.
Just one. They lost 2 nights ago.
That's what I thought. But
they lost 4, and we didn't talk about them yesterday. And then they came back and won last night. Now the Angels are a dumpster fire.
They're terrible.
So let's not get too excited here. Let's contain our excitement until this actually turns into a win streak against some decent teams. But no, they led. I think they were up 6-rip. Angels came back and scored 4 in the 5th, I think, to make it 6-4, and then the Twins scored 4 more. So, but yeah, it's this is a team they should have swept, to be.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. See, here you go. Yeah, they flipped it because this morning it said the Twins beat them Monday 6-2, but the Angels actually beat the Twins 6-2.
Yes. And so we avoided talking about the Twins almost completely.
That's what I thought. Yes.
Yesterday.
That's what I thought. But, I'm holding on. I just love baseball. I love my Twins, but they're just not very good.
No, they've been, no. And if Correa and Buxton, or at least Correa comes back, I think it's going to change things a bit.
Yeah, I hope.
He's such a good player, but that depends on the status of his foot. You know, he was an all-star, but he hasn't played in 2 months.
No, I know.
So, and if he comes back and the foot is bothering him, there's certainly no guarantee that he's going to be the player that he was before the All-Star game. So there's a lot to unpack here, but yes, at least they beat what I would describe as a horse crap baseball team.
Horse crap is a good way to put it.
Horse crap is, it's politically correct enough, or it's okay enough, but I think it speaks volumes about the state of the Los Angeles Angels.
There's no question about it. Brilliant reports. Oh, I ran into Phil yesterday in the building, and he was like shocked to see me. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "You know."
You just said, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah. What are you doing here? It's late in the day. What the hell's wrong with you?
Age is the only guy. Declan sometimes, but AJ is the only guy now consistently there. So
no, Ross is there. I think more.
That's true.
Ross is a great guy.
Ross is there a lot.
I love Ross. He wanted me to take a job over at the Hubbard building where I would stand in front of his desk and say, "Leave Ross alone. He doesn't want to talk to you." Or, "Hey, Ross is in a good mood. You can talk to him now." So I'd be directing traffic for him.
Oh,
yeah. Ross is in the cubicle kind of kitty corner to me. And the problem we run into is like, maybe we want to just lock in and just get stuff done, edit shows, get clips out. Everybody comes by and it's like, hey, you know what? Let's talk about the Twins. How about
eye contact, AJ? I've always told you this: never make eye contact and be very curt in your remarks back. Hey, what about the Twins? Say, yeah.
Yeah.
People will eventually get the hint that you do not want to talk to. This is an art that I have worked on for years now. Because in my old days at the Star Tribune, I had a desk on the end. I finally just put a bunch of plants up so people couldn't even see me.
Ooh, good move.
I like that idea.
The kind of a jungle look.
I'm trying to work. If I need friends, I'll go to the bar.
I will close with this. I also ran into Brittany yesterday. I've adored Brittany since she was, I believe, 21 years old, something like that. She worked with us over at the Q back in the day.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not my business to talk about her life and all the rest of it, but she hit a pretty solid bump in the road just a short time ago, and her personal life. And that woman is one of the most strong human beings. She was sitting there with tears running down her face, just talking about how I love that woman. And I want to make that very, very clear. I love Brittany. She's one of my favorite people on earth. She's tough as hell, but underneath that toughness is a very, very sweet person. So
no, she's a really good person.
She really is a good person.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd still want to fight her though. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
Fight her?
Yeah.
No, she'd kick your ass. Yeah.
She probably
and mine too. I'm not speaking just for you. No.
But Britt, well, she got the job she deserved. She'd always wanted that job over at My Talk, and she got the job. So I'm very, very happy for her. But Brittany, if you're listening, I love you dearly. You know that. My whole family does, actually. And it was great seeing you yesterday. No doubt about it. And I met her partner, too, who has a little edge to her. She gave me
Kendall?
Yeah.
Who
are you? I said, leave me alone, sister. One of those deals.
I like it.
All right, Pally, we will talk to you again tomorrow. Now I got to put up with Phil on Friday. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, you know what? Make some changes. Actually, we should have a picture of us in the hallway with you, me, and Phil,
right,
just for these hits.
We probably should. I don't think there's any question about that.
Then it'll be up for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then it'll never take it down.
Because it'll cost $5,000 to produce it and hang it.
Yep. They're going to get every single cent out of it.
Exactly right. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Judd. Great talking to you, pal. Take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert joins us right after this. Hi, Tom Barnard for Livia Weight Control Centers. Your success story starts today. Join Livia's doctor-recommended and award-winning nutrition program and get your first 8 weeks free. You could lose up to 20 pounds or more in your first 8 weeks. I lost, as a matter of fact, I think 30 some. Plus, Livia offers weight loss medication to accelerate results. Receive personalized one-on-one guidance, plus expert nutrition and medical support. Livia is the destination for all weight loss solutions. Trust me when I say this, Livia works. I talked to the boys here at the station about this, and I don't know why it is, but I do my weigh-ins at Livia on Thursdays. Okay, I do the show tomorrow. Then I get in the car, I drive over, and I do my weigh-ins. And for, I don't know, well, not last week, but before that, it was like 3 Wednesdays in a row. And then tonight continues it. She takes me out to dinner. We're going out with some friends tonight. And where's she taking me? She's taking me to an Italian restaurant. Why would you do that to someone who has to weigh in tomorrow? Because no matter what I eat, I'm going to weigh like 3 pounds more than I actually do.
Yep. Salad.
Every Wednesday. Yeah, I'm going to go to Gianni's and eat a salad. No, thank you. Gianni's is good, man. I haven't been there in a while, so I'm looking forward to getting there. But You know, I said, honey, look, I got to weigh in on Thursday mornings. Will you stop with because I'm not kidding you. You eat what you eat and you're losing weight in a very nice clip. And then you go out to dinner. And even if you don't eat a lot of food, I pop on, I don't know why, but it's always around 2.6 to 3 pounds. And I know it's not real, but still, why every Wednesday night? Explain it to me. Is she doing it on purpose?
At this point, I think so.
Yeah, I do too.
Sabotage.
That's exactly what it is. So here's the deal. I'll give you the report. I'll give you the report on Friday because I weigh in tomorrow. But they'll be going, gee, Tom, you just lost 5 pounds. Now you put 3 of it back on. No, I have not. It's a lie. Visit Livea.com. That's Livea.com or call 855-GO-LIVEA. Join Livea's nutrition plan today and get your first 8 weeks free. Plus, Livea Medical offers GLP-1 medications for accelerated results. They work like a charm, that deal, GLP-1. Visit Livea.com or call 855-GO-LIVEA. Choose the trusted leader serving our communities for 15 years. Livea works.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert as well. That'd be good. A safe car. That works for me. You'd be an expert when it comes to fixing your car, the auto mechanic. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert and should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week and he understands the market, the economy. He knows how to plan for your retirement. That's a very, very important thing. Retirement now, Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no obligation 48-minute evaluation. And that's the whole deal. You got nothing to lose. You sit there for 48-minute evaluation. You will know everything you need to know, and there's no risk. I think you'll sign up with them once you do that, but there's really no risk. You'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, LLC security investment advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at TomBarnardShow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Mr. Egert, I got some bad news for you.
Yes, sir.
We had a vote just 10 minutes ago, and the three of us here have decided that Hannah's a lot better looking than you are.
I can't argue with that.
Is that her laughing in the background? Yeah. Why don't you pipe down, sister? You give her a nice little, oh, there she is. See, no, okay, there you go. There's a comparison. So what do you think, Hannah? You're a lot better looking than Chris.
Well, of course she is, for God's sakes.
I have a face for radio, so
Stop
should
it.
be on radio.
You have a face for radio, do you?
Are you looking at the screen right now, Hannah?
Look
at all of us.
Yeah, Hannah, you're
all of us.
You're the one in black, not the one that's ducking down out of the camera.
Stop it. Stop it.
Hannah, we miss you. You got to pop on the show more. You haven't been on the show in like 2 months.
Well, you know what? Chris was at the fair. So
yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah.
He was gone, and then I was gone for a little bit, and so I'll have to pop back in.
Well, I was watching on the channel because I wake up every morning now and I watch your news before I leave for this show. So every morning now I've been watching you guys.
What is Chris doing? Sit up.
What are you doing?
Fine. Nothing. I'm just getting out of the way.
Oh my God, you're such a child. Isn't he childish?
So childish.
So childish. All right, Hannah, pop in more often. You haven't been enough.
I will. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Bye, Hannah. Anytime.
Anytime, Hannah. No, but you know what? I do like your, what time do you do your very first broadcast?
4:30.
Yeah, it's 4:30.
That's Matt Belanger and generally Brandy Powell. Do that newscast, and then Hannah's there, Ken's there, and then we go off at 7. Hannah stays on with Matt, and then Jonathan Uhas comes on.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's good news, man. You guys do a good job. No
Thank you.
question about it. I watch it every morning now. Sit there, having a good time. You know what I'm saying.
Did you watch the big debate last night?
I did not. I've never watched a debate in my entire life. I've seen some highlights of it, and what I found out, and I was very surprised, that half the people think that Trump won, and the other half of people think that Kamala Harris won. So I really learned a lot from the public on this. It's like, geez, whatever.
Yeah, that I don't think anybody's mind was changed about anything after watching that last night. And I think he was him and she was her. And yeah.
I do want to know now, because Ohio is sending troopers and $2.5 million to a city that has seen an influx of Haitian migrants. So is that story about Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs, is that made up?
What I do know that got addressed last night. And David Muir, the anchor for ABC News, went on the record specifically saying ABC called and talked to the city manager and asked them specifically, is this something that's happened? And the person said, no, we've got zero reports of that happening.
The lady they actually accused of is actually in Canton, not in Springfield. So they don't have the city correct either.
So it's in Canton, Ohio?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, though. If you were city manager, would you admit if that had happened?
Well, that's what Trump said. He gave Trump gave a good he gave a good rebuttal. He basically said, well, I would expect if that's what the city manager would say, or if I was city manager, that's what I would say, or to some extent. So I don't know. It's one of those things that and we haven't covered it because we have our own crap going on here. Other than mentioning it like this, but I don't know. I'm sure there was something somewhere that got this all started, and I'm sure that there was probably some fact in that, and then like everything, it gets blown out of proportion, and who knows?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It gets blown out of proportion. But I mean, look, if they're sending $2.5 million in troops to a city in Ohio to see an influx of Haitian migrants, something's going on. I don't know what the hell it is, but it ain't looking good. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm not up to speed on that. I'll be honest. I've seen everybody making their little, wise ass Facebook posts about it. I'm just like, even Eric, one of Donald Trump's sons, keeps tweeting out pictures of Donald AI generated on like a herd of cats. And it's so ridiculous.
So what are the big stories you're covering today?
Well, 23rd anniversary of 9/11 today. So we had a reporter on that. We talked about some volunteer efforts that are going on today, that it's kind of become sort of a day of service for certain organizations and whatnot. So at 10 o'clock this morning, there's going to be a bunch of people out at Fort Snelling cleaning up grave sites and, doing volunteer work. So we talked about that. Hennepin County Sheriff wants to build a new jail. That was one of our stories this morning.
Where does he want to build it?
She wants to build it out of downtown.
Why?
I'm not sure what the rationalization is, other than I'm guessing it'd be easier to get in and out of if you had. I'm just thinking like somewhere out. Well, the only place it could go is Hennepin County. It'd have to go out in the western suburbs out there somewhere, right? That would be the only. And I don't, for whatever reason, I'm thinking like Maple Grove or out kind of past that way. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they want to go out there, because one could also argue there's all kinds of empty buildings in downtown Minneapolis right now that could be. But I'm guessing when they do construction costs on things like that, it'd be way more expensive to retrofit an old building and turn it into a jail versus, building something new and out west. But
I could see that. Yeah, I don't understand why you would. It's centrally located for a reason.
Yeah. That's what I keep falling back on. What are you gonna say, Ted?
Oh no, I'm just imagining them renovating one of the skyscrapers to have like a 50-story prison.
Oh yeah,
up in the air. Great views, but you're in jail.
Well, there's a building right across from CCO, the radio station, and it's not. It might be the Ameritrade. It's not that old, and they're talking about tearing it down because that's a more economically efficient way of dealing with the empty building for them, which seems crazy to me. If you've got all these buildings that are down there and they're talking about tearing down a building that I don't think is even 20 years old, that couldn't be turned into something. But anyway. God,
great memories you just gave me being at going visiting people in the city jail in Minneapolis. You ever been in that elevator that goes up to the city jail in that building? We always called it the Louis because we had a friend, very, very tall Spanish guy. He's about 6'3", probably weighed about 300 pounds, just a big, muscular, tough son of a bitch, right? He tried to count how many times he got his ass kicked in that elevator by about 2 or 3 cops at a time. They put him in the elevator and stop it between floors. Whoops. God, I missed
it. Yeah, I guess there's not a surveillance camera in here.
All right, Pally. Well, another brilliant report. And you know what? Maybe you're shoulder to shoulder with Hannah.
I prefer to have Hannah here every time.
No, I'm talking about as far as beauty is concerned.
I'd much rather look at Hannah in this little box right here than me.
This little deal.
Sad old one-legged man. All right, you guys.
Well, sad old one-legged man. Boy, that put me in a good mood. Thank you. Really
hey, you're not that old, Chris.
Yeah.
You might be sad and one-legged, but you're not that old.
And it's like 1.5 legs.
I'm freaking old. It's fine. All right, you guys. Have a good day.
I'm going to say goodbye to Sydney. Okay, you ready? Egert, get the job and hop to it. That's the kind of stuff that Sydney used to say. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow, pal.
Bye.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Love working with that guy. That Hannah, though, she does a hell of a job, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not going to get caught in traffic if you listen to Hannah every morning.
It's very true. There's no question. You can't even get around that. But, hey, did I get him out on time? What a mistake that was.
Close
enough.
I think I don't really care too much about whether or not he gets the next spot because it doesn't impact me. But I think I think he said like about 47, 48 is like when he wants to do it. So you were kind of right on the nose.
Okay, so 47 is good. That works for me.
I like it.
We shall take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Come back and talk a little bit about what's in the news this morning. And I know the debate was a very big deal. I did not watch it. You guys didn't even watch it either, just highlights of it or something?
Yep. I had it on in the background while I was doing car research. So
there you go.
So half paying attention, maybe.
We will be right back. Beer, food, Vikings, and real life jousting. The only place you can find all these things together is the 2024 Minnesota Renaissance Festival, happening weekends now through September 29th, plus Labor Day and September 27th. Located at the Renaissance Festival grounds in Shakopee, it's fun for the entire family. As you venture around the grounds, finding amazing food and drinks and tons of different street acts, live music, and full armored jousting. You ever had full armor on? I never have.
No, but I imagine it's heavy.
I would imagine.
Closest thing is like hockey gear.
Yeah, probably true.
But that's not even close.
There's always something exciting going on there. I'll tell you that. You like to live on the edge? Try your hand at axe throwing, shooting a crossbow, climbing a rock. You think they would hand me a crossbow in public? I doubt it.
No, not with your track record.
I think
you're on a list somewhere.
Probably. That's what I'm thinking. Shooting a crossbow, climb a rock wall, or test your wits in an escape room. It's also perfect for kids of all ages, featuring a petting zoo, various rides and games, along with arts and crafts events. Plus, with over 250 artisans, I said artisans, and shops around the festival, you may just find something that scratches your medieval itch. Visit RenaissanceFest.com now for tickets, discount tickets, as a matter of fact, parking passes, all the other information you're looking for. The 2024 Minnesota Renaissance Festival. Visit RenaissanceFest.com today.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Let us take a second to talk about my bank. That would be, of course, North American Banking Company, owned by Bilski. If you own a business or are thinking about starting one, make sure to check out my friends at North American Banking Company. When your business is looking to capitalize on an opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners expand with confidence. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
So just kind of looking at the headlines this morning around the Twin Cities area. A lot of stuff about, officials ID man shot to death in July in Minneapolis. Patrol ID's motorcyclist killed in East Metro after colliding with semi that pulled in front of him. Gee, my God. But now Wilco, I don't know who Wilco is. That's a band? Is that like a country band or something?
Wilco. I don't know. What's the headline for more context?
It says Chicago Rockers, actually. Wilco books another rare 3-night stand in St. Paul. This one even more special. It's a Chicago rock band, apparently, promising no repeat set lists for its third run at the Palace Theater. I don't know Wilco. Maybe we should find out who knows Wilco. Does anybody know Wilco?
I'm looking at
no idea.
I'm looking at like their top songs, and frankly, I'm not sure I know who Wilco is either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either, but they're the number one story in the Star Tribune this morning, so they got to be pretty important, I would guess.
You'd think so.
Jesus, unbelievable! This motorist fatally hit after exiting crashed car on Highway 169 south of Shakopee. A lot of death lately in the news. What the hell?
Yeah, definitely a lot of death. Officer Dave just messaged me and said that the Minneapolis jail is a pain in the butt to get in and out of
because of that elevator
as an officer. So I don't know if he probably just driving in and out and trying to
that's
get people
true.
in. And he says not centrally located. So, but according to the map of Hennepin County, somewhere between St. Louis Park and Wayzata, perfect spot, middle of the county to put a jail.
Middle of the county, put a jail out there.
Yeah, why not? If we're just looking for centrally located.
How far west are we talking here?
It's like kind of around the 169-ish area. Right before you get to Wayzata.
Oh, right there.
So like between 169 and 494, if they were just trying to go smack dab in the middle of the county, that would probably be about the area.
That would be it over there?
Yep.
So it'd be a lot closer for me to visit my friends when they're in jail.
Yeah, but my guess is there's more crime happening the closer you get to Minneapolis.
That's what I'm thinking.
And so you probably have a few more if it's more convenient to get people from Minneapolis into the jail there than it would be to put it out in Wayzata.
I'm kind of leaning that way. So, did Tim Walz, this is in the Star Tribune this morning, did Tim Walz let rioters burn down Minneapolis? Haven't they been talking about that for about a year now? Haven't they answered that question yet?
Yeah, but now that he's running for vice president or whatever on the ticket,
right,
that they have to rehash all the old arguments.
We got to recycle everything that was in the news cycle for local Minnesota so that everybody around the country can have their take on it.
See what he did with the candy store.
But this is in the Star Tribune, so they got to lean heavily Walz, I would think. I mean, it's a pretty liberal paper, and he's a very...
What's the content say? Because, I mean, the headline can be like hey, come on in and read the story, and we'll tell you.
The Trump campaign is hammering this line of attack in new ads through videos, interviews, and other public documents. The Star Tribune pieced together a timeline of the governor's response to the riots. But again, this is his people putting together. I got to be honest with you. I think the one person I have an opinion on in this entire race would be him. And he is a massive pain in the ass to deal with. I don't know who this guy thinks he is. Some hunyuck from Nebraska telling us what to do. What the hell is that all about? Get lost. I guess best way to put it is he's just not my kind of guy. That does happen.
It's all right. You don't have to be a fan of everybody. Just like, some people that you like, other people might not be a fan of. So
there's no question. What are you talking about? Like, Gel fan?
Yeah. You read my mind.
Gelfano. Soon after news broke that Tim Walz would join the Democratic ticket as a prospective vice president, his opponents coalesced on what they see as a major weak spot in the governor's record, his response to the 2020 Minneapolis riots. His Republican rival, J.D. Vance, told crowds that Walz let rioters burn down Minneapolis. The soundbite appeared in a new campaign ad for Donald Trump's ticket, cut over footage of rampant fires and looting, followed by more claims on social media that Walz was nowhere to be found during the civil unrest. Walz was a little more than a year into his first term as governor when Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd, and video of the fatal encounter ignited 5 days of protests that evolved into riots. The unrest caused an estimated $500 million in damages. Jesus. Culminating on May 28th with the torching of the 3rd Precinct Police Station, Walz ultimately imposed a citywide curfew and deployed the Minnesota National Guard. The soldiers and other law enforcement snuffed out most of the violence by May 30th. In the 4 years since, politicians in Minnesota have debated whether the Guard should have been deployed earlier and have traded blame as to who is at fault for allowing the situation to spiral out of control. So they do admit that it spiraled out of control. They just don't know whose fault it was.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't think there's any debate that it definitely got out of control. Yeah, and I would say
question.
No kidding.
They let the was it the 3rd precinct? I would say they definitely let that burn down. Yeah. They gave up and were like, we're just going to pack it up. And it was probably in this best interest of the officers that were trying to stand their ground to, we're going to back out.
Speaking of officers, I'm seeing a story here from the Minnesota Post, though, that so far this year, there have been a little over 1,000 job applications to the Minnesota Police Department. That's 45% higher than was in 2023. So
that would make sense.
Trending back up now.
We need cops. There's no question. Oh my God. You get to the bottom of the story. Walz blames the leadership in Minneapolis City Hall for their abject failure. So he's blaming the city. Everybody else is blaming him, and he's blaming the city.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be like, you know what?
That's true.
Yep, that was me. My bad.
All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. More news. Kristyn Burtt coming up about 15 minutes. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Mike Lindell of MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever. When you use promo code TOM, you get free shipping on your entire order. You get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you can get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Look at that timing, huh?
Get that internal clock.
Radio professional.
A radio professional. Is there anything such thing as a radio professional?
I think it's just what people that have been doing radio over like 10 years call themselves.
I think it's like the technical,
Yeah.
like if you get paid to play baseball at any level, you're
Yeah.
technically a professional baseball player.
That's true.
You might not be really that good compared to everybody else, but technically we all get paid.
Yeah.
So professionals we are.
So we are radio professionals
I think
or
so.
podcasting professionals now.
Yes, that's more
A
accurate.
whole different deal.
Mhm.
I guess. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're kind of looking at the headlines today, and there's a lot of death and murder, and Jesus, is this ever going to stop?
No, I doubt it.
And here's another one. This has got to be the 5th, 6th, 7th story in the past 6 months. Probation for ex-substitute teacher at St. Paul School convicted of sexual encounter with student. What is that all about now?
Yeah, there have been a handful of student-teacher relation stories coming out of the Minneapolis area.
Yeah, Minneapolis,
recently,
St.
like
Paul.
Brooklyn Park, I think, had one.
Yeah,
not
yep.
too long ago. So yeah, there's been quite a few that have been coming to light.
Well, let's find out. Is it all men and girls, or is it women and boys?
The one I saw on KSTP's website was a female teacher.
Oh, so that's this one. I think it is this one. Caitlin K. Dow, 25 of St. Paul, was sentenced in Ramsey County District Court after pleading guilty to 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct in connection with the incident that happened earlier this year at a St. Paul City school. It just goes on and on about this whole. Apparently, she invited the kid over to her house, and he turned her down. A teenage boy told police on March 13th that the two of them had a sexual encounter about 1.5 months earlier in an otherwise empty middle school classroom where Tao taught. She later invited the teen to her home, but he declined. How bad is the news? You invite somebody to your house and you go, "No, that's all right. I'm good to go. I'll wait here." Would somebody explain to me what the attraction of children is to people sexually? I just don't understand that.
Oh, no. I think most sane human beings are in the same boat you are.
I just don't well, she's 25 and it doesn't say how old the kid was, but the kid must not have been, was it more than 60? What school was it at again? Well, it just says at a St. Paul City school. I don't know if they give the name of the school or not. But yeah, I just don't understand. You're attracted to a child. I mean, wouldn't you kind of sit down at home and go, what the hell's wrong with me? I'm attracted to children sexually.
Yeah, I think the wires definitely don't connect the way they're supposed to in your brain if you're
I would say
speed dating at the local middle school.
Yeah.
If you get that far, I think there's not a lot of thinking going on to begin
I
with.
guess, but I mean, just to be attracted to someone like that is like, what the hell is wrong with you? right? I mean, Jesus, it's a kid, for Christ's sake. I better move on from this. I'll just get really pissed off.
And real quick, because me and AJ were talking about this during the break. The Carolina Panthers might be the worst football team in the NFL right now, and you can get a pair of tickets to their games.
I want Tom to guess because, like Tom, we talk about how bad inflation is.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
They are maybe suffering from reverse inflation. Luckily, or sometimes like harmfully, to Panthers fans.
Yes.
So
two tickets. How much do you think?
Where are the tickets?
They didn't give a general, just a general seat, probably nosebleeds.
Yeah, let's say nosebleeds. But like for the Vikings, for instance, if you're going to a nosebleed Viking seat, it's probably like minimum $80, but it's probably like 120 per seat.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll go with $70.
$1.80 for
Jesus.
2 tickets.
Oh God!
So
for 2 tickets,
I did some math. Hypothetically, let's say it was every seat. You could get, 2 for 180 for about $67,000. You could buy out the entire stadium.
Somebody's going to do that, Somebody is going to do that.
And the thing is, it's $1.80 per seat or whatever. But then with the Ticketmaster handling fees, the processing fees, that $1.80 turns into like $70.
Yep.
So you're really not saving all that much.
Isn't that amazing that all the handling fee? What do you mean handling fee? It's a piece of paper, for Christ.
Not even anymore.
Not anymore.
Electronic ticket.
Yeah. I did all the work. There's no handling.
What handling fee?
Oh my goodness.
I don't understand. On whatever. It all works out in the end, I guess. But I mean, it's just $1.80. That's for 2 tickets.
2 tickets, yes.
90 cents a piece.
They're just, you might as well just give them away at that point. I think there's probably a law where you can't just give the tickets away, so technically you have to buy them.
I'll give you a $5. You can keep the change as the tip.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah, I just, man, that depresses the hell out of me, because I think, and I'm almost certain of this, but I am not certain, the tickets to the very first Vikings game in 1961, I think even then it was $5 with the cheapest seats. And I mean, that's 5 times more expensive, but more than 5 times more expensive than the tickets are there now. I mean, $5 was pretty damn cheap, but 90 cents is very cheap. Let me just put it there. What is the problem? They just have never won anything, so people just don't want to go to the games?
Yeah, they've been really bad for a few years now, and it doesn't have any. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. So,
is the University of North Carolina pretty good? I think they are, aren't they?
They're usually good at basketball, but not football.
But not football?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say the Tar Heels are definitely more popular than the Carolina Panthers at this point in the Carolinas.
God, unbelievable. Yeah, North Carolina's always been a great basketball school. That is true. No question about it.
And yeah, Tom, it looks like you were about right. In 1960, you could get season tickets or individual tickets for Metropolitan Stadium were $5, and so season tickets were about $40.
Wow.
For the year?
Yeah.
$40. And how much are they now?
Oh, for season tickets, I mean, do thousands of dollars and thousands of dollars. It's like you have to buy a seat licensing fee for like $2,000 just to have the right to purchase season tickets.
I never checked in on this, but I was a season ticket holder in 1977, I think it was. Excuse me. When I was working at Capitol Records, I bought season tickets. I bought 6 of them for the season, 6 season tickets. And I believe there were $44 a game for all. No, it was 60. Might have been $66 for the whole game. I think it was like $66 per game for the season. And now those tickets are like over $100,000.
Yep.
For 6 of them.
Do you gonna renew those season tickets?
Well, I haven't even been to a game this year. I might not go to a Twins game this year. That's makes me sad in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sad to not go, but then it's also sad to go and watch a poor performance.
Yeah.
And just be angry the entire time.
You guys are too young to remember the Brockabrella guy that used to sell beer out at the stadium, don't you? You don't know that.
I forget what his name is, but it was like the same guy that's been doing it for forever, and he finally retired. Or no, Did they fire him?
I don't think they fired him. Oh God, I hope not.
Because was it Wally the beer man? Was that his name?
Oh, Wally Beerman was a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Was there a scandal with Wally the Beer Man?
I thought so. AJ, am I wrong about this?
Really?
I remember we talked about it. I think it might have been just like passing. I'll look it up. I'll check.
God, I've known Wally for 45, 50 years, for Christ's sake. But no, there was an older black man, and you know the Brock umbrella where you put it on your head.
Mhm.
It's an umbrella you put on. He always had one of those on his noggin, but just a great guy. So I know he didn't cause any problems. No question about that.
And I guess Wally the Beer Man was actually found not guilty.
Well, good. I'm
whatever he was alleged to have done.
But his co-defendant was found guilty.
Oh, really?
So I'll see what it was.
Oh, because they said he sold alcohol to a 19-year-old decoy. So they must have had a sting operation on old Wally the Beer Man.
Yeah.
Why? At the stadium?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yes, underage drinking is bad, but in that situation where you're handing a beer all the way down the
Right,
line.
absolutely.
Not as bad as
That's
those
tough.
prices, though. Am I right?
Oh my
That's
God.
rough.
Do you have the ragweed deal going?
I do. It's like
I
that.
do too. It's just kicking my ass. You sneezing
It's the
up?
worst.
It's terrible. When's it going to be like 80 below so it'll kill all that stuff off?
I know it's supposed to like be really hot again today. It's like 87, I think. and
But
then-
not humid.
No. So
That's the good part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole situation with I'm going to pause every time he goes to sneeze because
I'm trying to not distract the show. I'm so sorry.
But hey, I have to clear my throat about every 5 seconds so I understand exactly. It's all that. It's ragweed kicks my ass, man. I don't know why. We must not have had any in North Minneapolis. Well, I do remember one time I had a friend. We're walking by our house, 26th between Newton and Oliver. They're in North Minneapolis. We walk past my house, and he looks over at the house, and he looks back at me and goes, "Man, you're kind of lucky." And I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "You never have to mow your dirt."
Silver lining.
Didn't have much of a lawn, I guess, is what he was trying to say. The lawn wasn't looking too good. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I was just looking at some different reports, and again, it depends on which report you look at. Either Trump is really kicking ass now in the polls, or Kamala's kicking ass in the polls. How could both be true? I suppose different polls, different people.
Yeah, if CNN puts out a poll and Fox News puts out a poll, they're not necessarily grabbing both sides of the aisle to try to get an accurate.
If two polls are reported in the forest, does anybody actually?
Yes.
have
Yeah,
an
there
edge?
you go.
No,
Yes.
probably not.
No, I mean, it's just, so who knows how this all worked out. And okay, it says 2024. I'm going to click. I've not looked at this one yet. I'm clicking on it right now. This one says the latest polls. Do Americans have a favorable opinion of Donald Trump? They have a favorable opinion of Kamala Harris. They're both kind of like meeting in the middle in some of these polls. Some of them like them, some of them don't. Do voters want Republicans or Democrats in Congress? These polls are so tight. I don't know how they could call it one way. Every one of who's ahead in the national presidential polls. It's just neck and neck, man. I mean, could not be tighter.
Yeah, and my issue with the polls is like you get the people that are very into politics that are willing to respond to those, whereas I'm not gonna like if I get a text, it's like, hey, really quick, it's gonna take 2 minutes. Can you share it? No, stop texting me, stop calling me. I don't want to. You're gonna know my vote when it's time to vote, not right now. I have no idea.
Yeah, I just looked at a poll just now. I don't know what poll this is. Doesn't say what the poll is, but this one says that Kamala Harris has led in the polls since last week. So I don't, she leads in every poll that I'm looking at. So I don't know what that means. I don't know. Is any of that stuff true, or do they fluff them up before they publish them?
No, if it's like, I feel like, because one, I've never gotten an invite to participate in one of these polls. So I
never have either.
I assume it's just somebody sitting in an office.
Loser.
Like somebody just sitting in an office like, hey, what percentage should we give Harris? What percentage should we give Trump? Okay, let's call it a poll and put it out there. And then they always seem to change where they'll be like, in response to the latest poll, Donald Trump put out more Facebook ads and now he's winning. And then Kamala Harris put out more X ads and now she's winning. And it's just like back and forth until we get to the election day.
All right. Is this important to you guys or not? Campbell Soup is dropping the word soup from the name of the company. Do you care?
No, I don't.
Why?
I guess I was already calling it like Campbell's. Like I'm gonna Campbell's chicken noodle. I know it's soup, but
there you go. Well, that's kind of what they're saying. So they're agreeing with you. It's the end of an era. Campbell Soup is over, in name at least. They just announced they're planning to drop the soup and rename themselves the Campbell's Company. The CEO said, today we're so much more than soup. The idea is that I did not know they owned all this stuff. What?
Are you so much more than soup? Like, what else do you do?
To me.
Well, apparently they are, because I just saw this list and I had no idea the Campbell's owned all this stuff. The idea is they have a whole bunch of brands and products now. Their Pepperidge Farm. I didn't know that. Campbell's owns Pepperidge Farm. Breads, crackers, and cookies. Pace Salsa. Prego. And they own Rayo sauces. I didn't know they owned Rayo. I love Rayo.
Interesting. So they're like Kraft, where it's not just cheese. They do other. Okay. Yeah.
They own Snyder's pretzels. They own Kettle potato chips. I guess I can see why they dropped the soup, because they own all that stuff. Man, I had no idea they owned all that stuff. Did you?
No. That seems very sneakily like I didn't realize they were that big.
No, and
I didn't either.
The soup cans themselves, I assume, will still say soup on them. They're just changing the name of the overall umbrella.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably.
Like if you go to the office, they're just taking off the sign that says soup.
Yeah.
So it's just Campbell's Company or whatever. Yeah.
The one that pushed it over the top, they finally decided to change the name from Campbell Soup to just the Campbell Company. The higher up specifically named Goldfish Crackers, which they also own. They expect Goldfish Snacks to become their largest brand in the next 3 years. People eat that many goldfish bags?
I guess so. But
I can't remember the last time I ate a goldfish cracker, but they used to be super popular back in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
They're probably like a really popular like kids elementary like lunch snack. You throw it in there. But I feel like soup at the end of the day has got to trump everything. Like that's just your go-to. So many people eat soup.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to beat a chicken noodle soup, isn't it?
Yeah, I like a good like gumbo sometimes.
Gumbo's good.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of chowder. Chowder's good.
Clam chowder.
I was trying to think of a soup that I wouldn't like. Is there got to be some soups I wouldn't like, but I can't think of what they'd be. I don't know.
No, I'm more of a. Are you more of a broth-based soup guy or
chicken noodle soup broth?
Yeah,
is
chicken
good.
noodle. Okay.
If I'm feeling under the weather, but give me something hearty, like thick.
a Chipotle chicken.
Yes, give me something a little thicker.
Yep.
Like Dinty Moore beef stew. Is that what you're talking about?
Give me like a cream of whatever, or like I know what you're talking about for sure.
Cream-based soups for sure.
God, you just gave me a great memory.
Okay.
The first kid that ever came to North High School who had changed his name to Kareem. And of course, one of the big, really tough guys, so he couldn't do anything about it, decided his new name was Kareem of Wheat. Oh, really? How'd you come up with that one? That must have been very difficult.
That took all of 5 seconds. Way to go.
So, and then, of course, he was known as just Wheat from then on. The Kareem part went away. He was just known as, hey, Wheat, how you doing?
I'll tell you this. I've heard a lot worse nicknames.
Oh, yeah.
A lot worse.
Yeah, no question about it. Have you ever had any nicknames? I've had about 7,000 of them. So
I've had a handful, yeah.
Barney was the one. But when I was a kid, there was a Barney who worked at one of the gas stations on television. Mm-hmm. And every commercial that Barney would do, they'd pull into the station and would go, doing, doing. So, of course, my nickname for at least a year was Doing Doing. Hey, Barney, Doing Doing, how you doing?
We might revert back to that for a while here.
Yeah, hey, Doing Doing, what do you got going today? So you guys could do that. Just call me Doing Doing.
I think so.
That was Andy Fisher that did that to me.
AJ, you take the lead on calling Tom Doing, and I'll follow up.
I'll let Kristyn Burtt open her segment with greeting Tom with Doing Doing.
We'll do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristyn Burtt joins us right after this. I'm here talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, it seems like banking has changed quite a bit since you first opened your doors in 1998.
Yes and no. In 98, we didn't have online and mobile banking like we do today. Many banking processes have also changed. One thing that hasn't changed is we still provide a true community bank experience right here in the Twin Cities.
Our team takes the time to get to know our customers and their goals. This creates a relationship that is unique in banking today and one our customers appreciate. It's why we like to say we provide a better banking experience.
You're absolutely right, Brad. I've been a customer for a long time. The service your team provides is phenomenal.
Thanks, Tommy.
So why not bank with my banker, North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they taught you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back. Kristyn Burtt joins us, and God, am I glad you're here because today is the day, of course. It was just about an hour or so ago when the North Tower was hit. No question about that. But I have a problem. Kristyn Burtt, I need your help because you brought this up. A lot of people are asking me because they want to watch the documentary where the KQ Morning Show was the first place in America that said this is a terrorist attack. It's not an accident. What was the name of that documentary? Because I can't remember.
9/11, the Heartland Tapes, and you can
the Heartland
Paramount Plus.
Oh, it's on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can purchase it elsewhere, but if you already have a subscription to Paramount Plus, it is available for free.
What was it called again? I forgot already.
9/11, the Heartland Tapes.
The Heartland Tapes. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start out with I think it starts with the KQ Morning Show talking about it, but I know that thing, and I did not know this, but we were the first ones that said this is not an accident. This is a terrorist attack. And then that second one hit the tower, and it was like, holy Christ.
Yeah, you're probably within the first. Your voice, you can hear it within the first. I want to say like minute and a half or so.
Oh, okay, right.
And then there's like 4 or 5 segments with the KQ SR running show.
What if I should watch that today? Is it too depressing? Yeah, you got it right.
You know what? The documentary is from 2013, and I do feel like there's been enough time and space. It's still always traumatic, but I felt like it really gave us a different angle. I hadn't seen this documentary before. I watched it a couple weekends ago, and it was interesting to see the local perspectives of the coverage.
Yeah.
We have seen countless, the Today Show and Brian Gumbel was on CBS at the time. Like I've seen those over and over again because they play every single year, but I really think the local perspective is just very different. Mm-hmm. And the way they show like what was airing like right before all this started to happen and the news started to unfold, it was like, hey, it's fall. We got our corn maze going. Like it's, this is an issue at school. Like all of these like really simple day-to-day things that we do. We get up in the morning, we get our kids off to school. Yay, it's the fall. I'm buying a pumpkin. Like all of that stuff just became so inconsequential because of the national, really international news that was unfolding that day.
What's amazing about the human beings, and in this case, it's been almost a quarter of a century. It's 23 years ago, right? And he's still my neighbor. I still see him 3-4 times a week. My friend Gordy Amath lost his son in that attack on the first tower. And here we are 23 years later, and it's still just even talking about that. It's still as painful as it was then.
Yeah. And I find it amazing that almost a quarter of a century, 20, is that right? Yeah, that sounds crazy to say a quarter of a century. Like I said it and then I'm like, did I just do wrong math? I mean, I really just caught myself mid-sentence, but
I know.
The stories we still haven't heard. And, you know, it's been interesting over the past couple of years. TikTok has become a place for a lot of storytellers. And this one woman I follow, and she just talks about like makeup and stuff like that. And she revealed that just yesterday that she left her HR job at Cantor Fitzgerald just days before. She had taken another job. And so she started showing photos and she's like, this is all of us at happy hour. We were all friends. She's here. They're not. It just was really emotional. And she's like, I think about them every single year. And she's like, Cantor Fitzgerald really got hit hard on 9/11. She said it was a really good company to work for. The people who led it were incredible. And I think the CEO is still alive, but was saying like, just, it was a great place to work and just how it impacted every single aspect of her life moving forward. And having that weird survivor's guilt too is a strange thing to live with.
Yeah, I can understand that. I have not seen the video in years, but there was a video out there. I assume it's still around someplace, where a guy decided to jump off like the 90th floor or whatever, because the whole building was coming apart. And they, I don't know who took the video, but they followed him all the way down to the ground. And about halfway down, he starts walking like he's walking down a flight of stairs. As he's floating down, or dropping down, I guess is a better way to put it, he begins to walk. So he had talked himself in his brain into, hey, if I walk down, maybe I'll be okay.
It is I don't know if anyone's ever been to did you ever go to the top of the World Trade Center, Tom, when it was?
Oh God, yes.
One of the last, I left Manhattan in 2000, and it still stands out to me. One of the last jobs I did was at Windows on the World, which was the restaurant on the top of the tower.
Yep.
And that night it was really a rainy day. And the windows used to go like just a little bit under your feet, like not your full foot, but maybe like half your foot. So you could kind of like lean against the window and look down. And I'm sweating even just thinking about this. I do have but I have a fear of heights, and I always have, but I always like to like dare myself to like look. And the one thing, and I will still remember this because it was 2000, I said, gosh, that's a far way down.
Oh, yes.
And so a year later, when this was happening, it kept on replaying in my head because I was thinking about my fear of being safely in that building that day and all of those people being unsafely in that building, and then thinking the better option is to jump at this point.
Yeah. And that's what this guy did. He jumped, I don't know how many floors up, but it was way up toward the top. And
yeah, the smoke and the fire. I mean,
that was a tough day. There's no question about that. And I do remember meeting a couple of friends afterward, like at around 10:30 in the morning. There was not a noise in downtown Minneapolis. No noise, no cars, no planes, no anything. That felt really weird.
Yeah, we didn't know if there were other planes going to other cities or what else is going on, because never in a million years would you have thought, two planes are going to fly into two of the biggest skyscrapers in the United States. And so have you guys been to the like memorial that's there now where the buildings are?
Yeah, One Trade Center. Yeah, the memorial is beautiful.
Yeah, no, I went there a couple of years ago, and just even then, like, you can't help but get emotional to think like, this whole place was just pure chaos in the city, and like that's something that even was possible of happening back then.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people who didn't travel and see the World Trade Center when it was in existence, there was a mall underneath there. There was a massive transportation center, of course, for not only just the New York City subway, but also the PATH trains coming in from New Jersey. It just was a major hub for downtown Manhattan. And to see it just be decimated in a matter of moments too I think for me, it was so fresh because I had just left after living in New York City for quite a bit. And I lived downtown. I was in the West Village, but downtown was kind of my existence. I didn't like to go above 14th Street was the joke. And when I would look, I lived on Christopher Street, but when I would look to my right down 7th Avenue, you could always see the towers there. And then so my first visit back and in the West Village, realizing the towers were gone was hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very, very difficult. No question about that. It's just, I don't know. It changed the world forever. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Do you have any happy news? I
have coconut cake stories.
Oh, you
that's
do?
right.
That's right. Oh, thank God we have coconut cake to save
The
us.
Tom Cruise coconut cake.
I didn't want to be the one to have to transition from that very heavy, sad
No, it's
topic to
true.
being
No,
like,
it's
can you
very
tell us? But I'm glad somebody else did.
Coconut cake. Okay, so the cake. I'm gonna say the M word, and I know a lot of people hate this, but it is very moist. And that is exactly what you want out of a cake, because there is nothing worse than dry cake. Nothing worse. This cake, I will say that even just like a small sliver of cake packs a very powerful punch. It is rich and dense and sweet and yes, moist. But here's the thing I didn't realize. So the outside has like a nice thick layer of frosting. I love frosting. So this was good.
Oh yeah. Yep.
There's coconut on it, of course. However, there's also white chocolate bits in there.
Oh.
So you get this little bit of crunch, like the layer in between the icing and the cake. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sick, but I need another piece. And we all had another piece. And I was like, oh my gosh, Tom Cruise knows what he's doing with his Christmas gifts. And now it makes sense, because celebrities are always like, we get it every year and we savor it through the whole holiday season. Like we'll put it in the freezer. And this is the other thing. You're supposed to refrigerate it until you're ready to serve it. So 2 hours ahead of serving, you then put it on the counter and let it kind of reach like a nice cooling room temperature. Oh, it was good.
Okay, so when are you getting my credit card number so you can send us a cake?
Yes.
Oh,
When I
Tevin, I
don't-
know you're sitting over there listening to this, being like, "I wish I like coconut." Maybe.
I mean, it
I
sounds
think
like it's a
you eat
delicious.
the cake.
It sounds like it's delicious.
You got to try one.
I feel like you could eat the cake and like just cut off the rest of it.
Cut off the icky parts.
Yeah.
And give them to me because I love coconut.
Yeah.
works
Oh,
for
and the frosting is like the frosting ratio to coconut to white chocolate little chunks.
And because it's a bundt cake, correct?
It is a bundt cake.
And so we have locally here, there's, I believe it's called nothing bundt cake.
Nothing
Anything
bundt
bundt
cake,
Yeah,
yeah.
there we and that's phenomenal. 10 out of
is.
10.
Isn't that a chain? I think there's a chain
Is it?
for bundt cakes. Is that the
I
chain?
think
I thought
Yeah.
it was a local
No,
specialty.
this is a local bakery. Doan's Bakery is local here in Woodland Hills, California. It is very cute. So if you ever come visit Los Angeles, could be a fun little food stop. And they serve all different kinds of brownies. I mean, their showcase is incredible.
I'm going to go home right now and eat, but I can't. So never mind.
Book a flight to LA to go to Doan's Bakery. And
Or I could order it. I'll order it.
Nothing
Tom,
bundt
we'll
cake.
coordinate.
That's in Eden Prairie, isn't it?
They've got a lot of them. I thought it was
they
just
do?
kind of a
Oh,
Midwest
okay.
thing, but
Oh, okay.
apparently
It is
It's
good.
a chain. It's a chain test.
that changes everything.
It does.
It
No, this
is.
would be supporting a local business, which has been, I think they've been around for decades. The family has owned it for a long time.
Well, it sounds wonderful. We got to get this done.
All right. You and I will
Yeah.
link up and figure out how to get the cake out to you guys.
But you have to keep a piece so all four of us can eat the cake.
I can buy like they
You're gonna
sell
get
like
that
a
mini
little
one.
baby
a
mini.
little baby one. That's right.
And then you guys can get the cake.
and just cut it into 3 gigantic
You
slices.
just go, "Arr."
Cake is good, man. I've never been a pie guy. I've always been a cake guy.
Oh, I like pie too.
I love me some pie.
Really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't,
Apple pie,
It's
French
okay.
silk pie,
Peach pie,
sweet potato pie.
Peach pie, yeah. Cherry
blueberry
pie.
pie. Oh, pumpkin pie.
I found a
Yeah.
recipe for cinnamon pie. I'm gonna give that a try. Peanut butter, yeah.
Pecan
Anything.
pie.
You can keep.
Or pecan.
or
Sorry,
pecan
pecan pie.
Pecan.
My apologies.
Pekin, Illinois. That's what he was talking about. There you go.
No, in New England, we say pecan too. And then my friend moved up from Louisiana and she's like, in New Orleans, we call it pecan. That was our whole argument in high school.
Pecan.
I'm like, you're in New England, it's pecan.
I saw a viral video the other day, Kristyn, that made me think of you. And it was somebody saying that she was from Boston, and then she kept doing like the "pak ya ka," and she was like, "Not everybody from Boston talks like that," but she had a spot on. I'll say
Pakikan Harvard Yard.
Yeah, there we go. And that's all I said all day was in Harvard Yard.
Harvard Yard.
Pakikan Harvard Yard. Yeah, there's certain like I don't actually do a Boston accent really well because I've never had one, but there's certain like words like "ka" you can always do. I always tease my mom because it's always popcorn.
Popcorn, yeah.
Popcorn. Yeah, and certain words that are very specific to the New England area. Packy is is your liquor store. And if you're going to go and buy liquor, it's liquor.
Liquor, yeah.
And a clicker.
Liquor. And you drink from a bubbler, not a water fountain.
Oh, it's a bubbler. Yes, absolutely.
Bubbler. And a hair like, I only know how to call it an elastic. It's an elastic, but scrunchy or hair
tie or something.
Hair tie. Yeah, exactly. You'd call it an elastic. So sometimes I'm like, do you have an elastic? And people are like,
what the hell are you talking about?
Like a scrunchie.
What commercial was that when the guy went, what about your father's strawberries?
You with your Pepperidge Farm.
Pepperidge Farm again. That's right. It was Pepperidge Farm. What about your father's strawberries?
The Pepperidge Farm is a Pepperidge Farm accent. I don't know what, or maybe it's like a spin-off of a Kennedy accent.
But maybe that's true. Well, that's
you love the Pepperidge Farm accent.
Is it New Hampshire? Isn't that where they're
New Hampshire would be, yeah. You go to Lake Winnipesaukee.
Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
I'm telling you though, I do love that Boston area. I just absolutely love it there. I mean, I wasn't there during the big dig, thank God, because that went on for 75 years.
It did. And my dad at the time was living in Charlestown, and he would pick me up from Logan, and he would go down the street and he'd be like, oh, this was open last week, and it'd be a dead end. He'd have to like turn around. Yeah. Like the streets were just randomly closed. And basically once they completed all that construction, it was already obsolete, but they had to do it in order to keep traffic somewhat flowing in the Boston area.
So many great things invented out there on the East Coast, like, a lot of them in Boston too, no question about it. Although tiramisu was invented in where? Philadelphia? It's not Italian. It's Italian because the guy's a local Italian, but they always think it's an Italian dessert. It actually was in Pennsylvania.
So it's is it an American Italian
dessert? I guess that's what it would. You looking it up over there?
Yep. It looks like. Well, some people say it came from Treviso, Veneto.
Oh, in Italy.
Yeah, looks like a lot of people are saying it did come from Italy, but it was made more popular by Americans
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, they do get credit for it.
A little bit of credit.
Yeah,
not the North End.
Baltimore,
not the North End.
Baltimore. Some people are saying Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Really? It seems like a lot of controversy around tiramisu.
Yes, well, there's a shock, no question about it. But
I'm not a tiramisu fan, so.
Oh,
why not? Too sugary?
No, it's not that. It's the mocha. I don't like mocha.
You don't like mocha?
Yeah, because I don't drink coffee.
It can be overused. You're right. Mocha, if it's too much, it's way too much.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I don't drink coffee, so that probably eliminates me from most mocha drinks, coffee, desserts, all of that. So.
I suppose I don't drink a lot of coffee either, but if I did, you'd notice because I'd go psycho. That's unbelievable.
You got your Pepsi. Did you have your Pepsi today?
Yeah, there's nowhere near the amount of caffeine as there in a good cup of coffee, though.
Tom's going to try one of those Mormon dirty
sodas. Let's do. Yeah, we can go.
What is it again? I forgot what that is.
So the Mormons drink lots of like these soda drinks, but they have like coconut cream. Like it'll be like Dr. Pepper, coconut cream, and then like a vanilla syrup, and then like that like ice, like that shaved ice
soda.
It's not an Italian soda because that would have like a lot. That'd be more like a base of a sparkling water and then like a syrup. This has like Mountain Dew, then like coconut cream, and that sometimes they put marshmallow in it. I mean, sometimes they put in like 4 or 5 different syrups. It is crazy when you look at like Swig, which is one of their big franchises. Swig is one of their dirty soda franchise places, and when you see the menu, you're like, this is a sugar bomb. And they order like a 44-ounce soda. It's not. Yes, they carry around like the Stanley Cup size of soda. And that is what they will have for breakfast because they are not allowed to drink caffeinated hot drinks like coffee or tea.
My God. It's a way to live right there. No
They are
problem.
known for their sugar. They eat a lot of sugar. Like cookie places, like Crumble cookies came out of Utah.
Oh, crumble cookies are good.
Those are also a sugar bomb. So.
They are a sugar bomb. You're right about that. No question. All right. Any closing words, sister?
We need to talk The Perfect Couple too. I keep on saying that, but maybe we'll talk that tomorrow. And just to let everyone know, there is already a new streaming service out. Hallmark Plus launched yesterday. So if you want 24/7 Christmas movies, Hallmark now has you covered.
Starting in September.
Yeah, they started yesterday, September 10th. And they've got a new scripted series called The Chicken Sisters, which was based off of a Reese Witherspoon book club book. It's very cute. So if you're looking for a fun, fluffy new series about two fried chicken restaurants competing in a reality competition show with Leah Thompson and Wendy Malick, it's a good cast.
I like them.
Yeah, they're very good. And it's a fun little fluffy series. Like, it's not deep, but it's really well done, well written. I
guess have to do it at the very end, because I'll do it just before I do your outro. Okay. Did you watch the debate last night? See, I didn't even bring that up to you. That was
that's good. The only thing I remember from the debate, besides my coconut cake, is cats and dogs being eaten. Once that line came out, I lost it.
Did you eat less of your cake?
No, we probably dove in a little bit more to the cake.
No, you did.
And,
okay.
Yeah. But hey, debates are political theater, and that we should know that there was very little policy on both sides, and a lot of political theater on both sides.
Look at that. A brilliant report from Kristyn Burtt, ladies and gentlemen, like every day of the work week.
Yes.
These drinks look disgusting.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
that's what you're looking up.
Yeah.
What are you looking up?
The Dr. Spice, which is Dr. Pepper, and then they put like cinnamon, coconut, and cinnamon stick, and then half and half all together in a cup.
Yeah.
And here you go.
Or like a Dr. Pepper cupcake, strawberry puree, vanilla cream. It just sounds like diabetes.
The party I went to served up some of the dirty sodas, and I did try one, and it was like marshmallow, like lined all around the inner part of the cup. And then it was like coconut cream and root beer and like I think a vanilla syrup, and it was a lot. I didn't, and I love like a good crisp Coca-Cola. This was just too much for me.
I understand, no question. All right, young lady, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. That is going to do it for today's show. We got through it, even though it was September 11th. Talked about it a little bit, but, it's too depressing to talk too much about. Don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. The family show is up in about 7 minutes.